everybody, and welcome to episode 5 now. Thank you, Mike. Episode 5 of BSPW, Brink of Sanity Pro Wrestling Podcast. How you doing, guys? Joel, Mike, how we doing?
Doing all right.
Pretty nerve-wracking today. I don't know why. couldn't tell you why.
Well, I think it's a good thing that we've got some big surprises, some big conversations going on. The first is after last episode's fantastic performance by Joel. He has very kindly decided to join us full time on this mad, crazy thing that we call a podcast. So, welcome, Joel.
Thank you.
You're
I'm
welcome.
glad to be here. I could have
So-
totally played heel right there. I could have
you
been like,
totally-
you're welcome.
You
I was
totally
fully dude, like that. You did this, and I was like, he's about to do something dumb.
I could have just said you're welcome. No, I'll be nice.
but that's not the only big thing, is it, guys?
No.
There's an elephant in the room.
There is a very big elephant in the room. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something that we are here at BSPW incredibly happy to say, and this is going to be crazy. So, I'd like to introduce to you Cobra 2, Havana Pitbull 3, Mankey, Pinot Boy, Puma, Suicide. This one I'm probably going to butcher, so I am very, very sorry. Zindisco Tico, the one, the only, TJP, TJ Perkins is on the network.
Of all those characters, I never thought I'd be called the elephant as well, but I might start going with that.
New gimmick.
New gimmick.
I don't know. The video is going to show, but it's a special edition of a podcast with me because I am in the middle of a road trip right now. So you guys are also going to get a authentic road trip experience with me. Such as but not limited to this gas stop, maybe a pee break. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
We're down for the ride. I guess this is a ride with.
This is
it's
a ride along.
This is the ride along that WWE doesn't show you.
While we're at it, actually, so I might as well just throw this in there to tie this along. So we asked some people, because, again, we've been trying to keep this quiet, if you could ask questions to any wrestler, what would it be? And somebody literally asked, how hard is life on the road?
Good segue.
That's a great segue, Mike.
Glad I wrote it down.
Not so bad. You get tired a lot. I'm tired a lot. But it's fun, and it's not every day I get to shoot a podcast. In fact, I think this is the first time I've ever done it like this. So
Wow.
I'm actually really excited about that. And I'm about to plug my phone in, so I hope that it doesn't try to skip and load Vampire Weekend or something on accident. But we'll find out.
Do you always travel alone now? I know you're doing your own, you're on tour right now. So are you always alone?
Not always, but often, because it's kind of like how it was for me in the beginning of my career, where my schedule is going to be obviously different from everybody else's, right? So there's some legs where I'll be sharing the same route as somebody, but oftentimes I'll be hitting 3 cities, and most of the locker rooms I might only see somebody twice in that week because they have maybe a couple of them, but not all of them. So a lot of times I'm traveling on my own, but every now and then I'll have I have a business manager that'll travel with me on certain ones, mostly for signings and things like that, because he thinks that I need kid gloves or something. But otherwise, I'll ride with a lot of places. I have friends in pretty much every kind of corner, but if so, there's a couple cities in a row where I know some of us are going to be sharing locker rooms, and then we'll all ride together. But a lot of times I didn't really put my schedule together very intelligently. so there's weeks where I mean, we were just talking about like Starcast, right? So that week, I want to say it was like I started in like Portland, and then I went to like Toronto, and then I went to like San Antonio, Texas. Like it didn't make any sense. So on a week like that, I'm absolutely traveling alone because nobody else is doing that stupid route. Yeah. So.
Oh, fantastic. Well, guys, we promised you something big. And this is the something big that we promised you. So
I was gonna say this falls along with exactly what we were doing, just like naturally being in the element of everything. Like
yes,
this is even better than I thought it would be. So it's really cool.
So we're gonna kind of roughly run through with the audience today what we've kind of got in mind to have a conversation with you about, TJ. The first thing, I'm definitely hoping that I did include it in the email, which I hope. So the first thing that we kind of want to do is, for a lot of people, the first big time they saw you was on the network. So it was you becoming and winning the first ever Cruiserweight Classic, which I still remember watching. And it's something that a lot of people, that's the first time, that Cruiserweight Classic, that they really got a look at TJ Perkins. So we kind of was going to hope today to maybe watch the last match of you winning it against Dram Makalik. And maybe you have a talk with us, let us know, this point we thought this, and maybe some inside scoops that maybe we wouldn't know, but something that you would like to fill us in, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Fantastic. And then we very slyly within our community page, which you guys can go and follow. Please remember to do that. Look for our podcast page on Facebook, and then from there is a big blue button that says join our community. Come along, spread some positivity, as you know we like to do, and have a good conversation. But we were very, very sly. We actually used a fourth person to gain these questions because we really didn't want to give anything away to you guys. So we have some fan questions as well. And then finally, we kind of want to talk to, TJ about his world tour at the moment. I know from, I've got his schedule currently looking. I've kind of on his website, detonationkick.com. Go check it out. If you want to find where TJ is, check that out and you can see the entire schedule. It's fantastic. But I know it's a world tour because, funnily enough, a week today, you will actually be in the UK. So you will be on my home turf.
Yeah. I will be on your side of the big blue bucket of water that carries our.
See, so and then I will be going to one of the shows, hopefully to see to go and support TJ. I already know who I'm supporting. It is going to be TJ. There has been some fantastic bouts that have already been planned up. I can't wait to see as many as I can. But I also see you've got in here Australia.
Wow.
Yeah. I've got I know there's got to be at least one on there, but I believe there's 3 different Australia trips that are all kind of pending scheduling. We're just kind of finalizing details. So, but yeah, the first one is coming up pretty quickly too. I want to say it's like a week after maybe the UK. It's pretty quick after, I think.
29th of August. It's got you down here.
Okay, I think there should be also August 2 and 3 maybe.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Yes, so there is. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna begin and end August with Australia, so I'll have to up my knifey spoony game. I'm gonna do that.
Okay, so I mean, first off, TJ, how are you? How are things? How have things been on the road? How's it been? Doing the independent scene? How have you found it?
Well, right now I'm stuck in traffic next to some horses. But no, things have been good. I'm busier. This is probably the busiest I've ever been outside of being like on tour in Japan or Mexico is actually probably the busiest I ever was because that was like a 7-day a week schedule. But this is up there with as busy as I've ever been. And in terms of travel, it's the busiest I've ever been because usually with a touring schedule, you're on a bus or there's like a route to it, So even if you're busy, it's more coherent as opposed to like what we just talked about with how my schedule has been. So I think the distances I've traveled and the volume is more than it's ever been. But it's been good, freedom is something that you don't really know you miss until you don't have it anymore. And I'm very happy with what I have. So like I'm glad to be flying and I kind of hope not to land for a little bit. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, free spirit here first. So, let's jump straight into this. So, I will do the standard now of sharing the screen so everybody can see what is going on. 1 second. Bear with me. Now, you should be getting this up. Have you guys got it?
Technology.
There we go. Technology is incredible. So, here we go.
Hey, look at my schedule.
It is your schedule. It is. So, we are going to jump in. If anyone else wishes to watch along with us on this, we will be jumping in on the 10th episode of the very first Cruiserweight Championship, which is the final. And we will be starting from 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 5 seconds. This is where just after Triple H has come out and announced the Cruiserweight belt, which I have a question actually, TJ. Did you know about this?
No, in fact, you should have started the video a little earlier. My commentary is maybe infinitely more interesting about 30 seconds before this point.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I didn't know about that. We all kind of knew that we would be getting a show, or I'm sorry, we would be getting a division. We didn't know about the show until, God, I want to say a couple weeks before it started. That came up really fast on us. But this came up even faster because I didn't know Hunter was coming out. Nobody knew there was a title or anything like that.
Oh, wow.
We just thought the tournament was what it was. So when his music hit, everything slowed down, and I thought to myself, there's a possibility that this was all just a big joke, and we're all going to take pedigrees right now. and DX is back, and then we were all just a pawn in their. So like that's what was going on in my head. Is I looked and I remember looking at Metallic. He doesn't speak any English, and I remember thinking, and I know him a bit. We're pretty good friends. I remember thinking, wow, I kind of hope that that's the case because the joke's really going to be on him. He has no idea what's going on. But it turned out to be it turned out to be a nice moment or whatever, so it was okay. But I for a second I thought, oh man, this is one big ruse and this is going to be fun.
This is how the boys are going to rib you.
Yeah, this is it. This is where we die. This is how it ends.
I have a question before we get into this. Now that I'm thinking about it, how hard is it to call a match with somebody that doesn't speak English?
Well, so I don't always think that this is like my people like I get asked this a lot in podcasts or fan mail or something like that, like about like what's to me like what was like my biggest moment or whatever, and I don't usually put this on there because like WWE was never on my bucket list, and and it was nice. I mean, it was really, really cool. It is the team I grew up watching, obviously, for everybody, you know, like it is a really sweet moment. But I always point to like other stuff that was like a little bit more meaningful to me, like personally, like I did the Tokyo Dome at 18. I think that's still a record for Americans.
Wow.
And I did Arena Mexico and the anniversary show at 18, I think, as well, and like won some awards down there and stuff. And like those were places I thought I would never ever get in my life, like because there's like, especially at the time I came up, it was like, you know, like the tape trading era, and like the internet wasn't really a thing yet, and you couldn't just formulate a plan to go to New Japan or CMLL or anything like that. Like you kind of just had to hope to get lucky. Whereas like WCW, WWF at the time, you kind of could know that, okay, I could network and find my way there eventually. So I always thought the other stuff was stuff I would never get. So when I got it, it was super special to me. This I always thought was really cool, but the thing that does make it really special to me is that in retrospect, doing 2 matches with guys with severe language and style barriers within like 15 minutes of each other, and both of these matches almost going half an hour, like to me that was actually a really cool moment for me as a professional, because it's like that I always kind of feel like now that might end up being my like kind of like my flag in the sand of that this is if there's anything that said that I was like, you know, pretty good at this at one point someday, then I'll always think like, okay, well, you know, I thought that was a pretty cool accomplishment. So yes, to answer your question, like it can be incredibly challenging, especially when it's a situation like this where you have like time constraints and like a major league time constraint for people that are wondering. Like if you do like an indie show or like say like New Japan or something like that in Mexico, they'll tell you a time, but you can kind of like be within a couple minutes of that time. They might tell you 10 to 15 or something like that, or, you know, 20 to 25. But a place like WWE or like say like a WCW back in the day, or how like Impact is, you know, with like a live TV or pay-per-view situation, you have like a 30-second over or under that minute.
Oh wow.
So
Wow.
if they say
Wow.
if they say you have 19, that means you have to be, the clock starts the moment the first guy walks out of the curtain, and it finishes the moment the last guy walks back through the curtain. So, and you got to be 30 over or under that, or else you start pushing the limits of, they might have to cancel an advertisement, and that advertisement might have cost them $100,000, you know. So like it gets really precise.
Yeah.
So doing matches like these where it's a long match with guys with different language barriers and style barriers, and so fast one after the other, like for me that was a pretty big moment that I feel like I was able to get through that exactly the way that WWE wanted it, and exactly the way the other guys were happy with it, and to, you know, that sort of thing. Like I checked off all the boxes, and that was kind of important to me.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
Wow.
There we go, guys. Definitely some inside information. We, we are fans. We haven't been in the business. I think maybe I've done the most training out of all of us. You know, and I've done 3 hours worth of wrestling training. So, you know, we're not clued up on that side of things. But
Veteran.
wow. Yeah. I think there is definitely someone else in this room that we can call a wrestling veteran, not myself. So we're just gonna briefly watch this, and just kind of, if there is anything that, you know, you kind of say, oh, I remember, just let us know. I mean, we would love to just hear your kind of thoughts and anything really. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I did rewatch it earlier whilst I was at work. And it's a fantastic. It's a match that I look and I remember as to why the whole tournament itself, the classic, really ignited the spark back into the cruiserweight, you know, eyes on that division. And I mean, the final match here, in my opinion, is a match that really did solidify the best way possible that we could have finished this whole tournament. So
well, thank you. I appreciate that. And
That's
yeah, I'll drop. I haven't really. I'm not big on watching my own stuff, so a lot of this stuff, I not that I'm rewatching for the first time, but maybe only the second or third time, and it's been a while. I don't really watch myself that often.
Yeah.
So I'll probably think of stuff that like, oh yeah, I think I remember this or that at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
That's fair.
here we go. Let's start.
All right,
So.
director's commentary coming up.
It's that Blu-ray DVD features.
So initially, I just wanted to kind of see where the crowd was at, and this is usually what I'll do at the beginning of any match is kind of give them a little bit and get a see what kind of reactions we're getting, because it'll totally change the type of story or whatever I wanted to do as far as what the plan was. Because I don't believe in going into a thing with my own personal script and sticking to that. If that's not what people want, then you shouldn't just force feed them something that they're not wanting. Plus, I had been very polarizing throughout the tournament. You know, like a lot. I was beating a lot of people's favorites, so I needed to kind of take the temperature of the room a little bit, and that's really what this was for, was to provide little breaks where I can kind of see what they're thinking, and then I could translate to him through what little Spanish I know. This is where we're at. Let's, speed it up, or I'm going to do this, or we're going to go here or there.
I will be honest. You destroyed my bracket. You completely destroyed my bracket. So for me, I was happy, but I was like, well, I'm out. I have got no clue no more.
If I was
I know
any
you
good
wanted
at merchandise,
Zack
I would have
Sabre to
made a
win.
bracket buster shirt.
I mean, for me, obviously, a British guy, Zack Sabre Jr. I'm gonna lie, I always have the Brits back.
So, funny story then. Also, what I was thinking in the beginning here, because we're doing a lot of grappling heavy stuff, is after the first round, I was asked who I would like from the other side of the bracket to wrestle in the finals. I knew I was in the finals at that point. And I asked for Zach, because I get on with Zach real well. We've known each other a while, and my heart is in catch wrestling, so like that's what I kind of wanted to do. And we had even talked a lot throughout the thing, but they kind of gave me a choice between him and Metallic, and Metallic's a good friend of mine too. So it almost was me and Zach.
Oh wow!
And
That's
I remember
the one
thinking
I wanted,
when I was
personally.
when I was grappling here in the beginning, I remember thinking this is good, because I knew eventually I'll be able to do like more stuff with Metallic. It would progress from where we're at here. But I remember thinking, man, there's a lot of really great stuff I could be doing at this point if it were Zach with me. And so that is one of the things that came up.
There wouldn't have been that language barrier.
No, definitely not. But then again, some of this stuff that you see that we eventually get to that I think draws in different audiences that may not have understood what Zach and I can do. We could, on that side of it, I don't think I could have gotten that with Zach as well as I did with Metallic. So I think that was something that WWE had the foresight of, that like I was just thinking I just want to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And WWE's like, no, we think that you can maybe get more out of this matchup. And I think they were right, like I kind of felt for Zach a lot of times, because he's so brilliant, but like in that setting, I don't think that he was able to demonstrate how great he really is. And there's just not a lot of flexibility for him to do that in the tournament that we had. So I think it was maybe the right call, but I would have wanted to get more of Zach in, just because I know that Zach has so much to offer,
I mean, I have a question here, and this is just what's happened just right now. One thing that always intrigues me, the through the ropes, kind of landing on the high risk stuff.
Yeah.
How much do you truly feel? Has there ever been a time you've been hit and gone, oh, can I get back up?
Oh, you mean from the other guy?
Yeah.
Like when we collide? So traditional lucha libre teaches tope, we call it a tope, like that. Guys hit you 100 miles an hour. Like if you watch guys like, say, like Rollins or maybe Moxley, like guys like that are doing topes, like Luke Harper. When non lucha libre wrestlers do it, it looks like a flying hug, kind of, or like a flying like double high five, and it's kind of soft, but like Mexicans come at you like a dart, and so like this one was, I mean, he put that one right on the chin. He always does. So like you kind of have to kind of hit them back when they collide with you.
Receipt.
I mean, it's like a mutual receipt, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna feel it, you're gonna feel it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and just for safety purposes, because like I said, they're coming like a million miles an hour. Like an American tope, if you were to walk away from it, they kind of would just fall right where they are, like a Looney Tunes character, you know? Like Wile E. Coyote after running off the cliff, and it's like, oh, there's no more ground underneath me, and he just sinks. But like a Mexican, if I wasn't there, he would have ended up through the curtain, like in the entranceway. Like you just, because he's coming so fast.
I mean, looking at it, I am in awe whenever I watch any match with any wrestler. I have great respect because, like I said, I tried it. I tried for 3 hours, and actually after 2 hours, I gave myself concussion. So I have
That's common.
I have a great respect for anyone that steps inside of the ring.
So right here, when we were at this point, when we came back in after the Metallics dive on me, what I wanted us to do was drop the tempo for a second, again, to get another read on where the people are at, but also because tempo is usually the best way to control the emotional flow of the audience. It's like right now I'm stuck in traffic. So if I wasn't on a podcast, I would be like super angry, right? Like, come on, let's go. Like let's move. I'm sick of this, because something else is controlling your time right now. So a lot of times when you drop the tempo, you can force the audience to will themselves back into it. Or start to will themselves to a higher point than where they are already. So if they came up for the dive, then I'll usually drop our tempo so that I can see if they'll excite themselves. And then when they do, or when I feel like they are, I will pick it back up, which is why we returned it with that head scissors where we both tumbled out right there.
Yeah.
And that actually came back to bite me in the ass like a year later, because I did it with Brian Kendrick on Raw and almost broke my neck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. There's a gif or clip of that floating around somewhere.
Wow.
But yeah, so that's where that came into play, and I thought that would kind of tell a nice story, you know, with you know, I would have to kind of match his flight with my flight, and knowing that he's got a couple more to come later on, it was nice to set him up to kind of outdo me in the air later.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Now I have a question. I've actually always wondered this, because I've never been here. Now, around this time, I know like NXT was still very hot. The CWC was out there. How is the Full Sail crowd? Because I feel like they're a crowd, and you know, that for the most part just loves this stuff and is always supporting with all wrestlers. And they seem to always be engaged with you guys. Did you guys get that feel while it was live?
So I feel that way during the CWC, but I don't think that that's necessarily true in the grand scheme of things for everything that happens at Full Sail. Like, because I've also been in showcase matches on NXT, like the TV tapings, like a couple. Like I did the Dusty Classic tag tournament with Ibushi, and then I did like a special main event with Nakamura one time.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
And so what I noticed, what I think it really is that like CWC was sort of like must-watch TV in regards, like it's kind of like watching like Stranger Things on Netflix or something like that.
Right.
Because
Please
every
don't mention
episode-
that. Thank you to my other half who watched the entire lot without me. Anyway.
Well, the reason being is because every single episode somebody was going home, so you had to tune in. Like there was like everything was at stake every episode. Whereas if it's a normal TV taping or a normal show at Full Sail, then it'll just be like any other crowd. They might not be engaged if there's not something serious that like no repercussions. Because I remember during 205 they were wondering why we're not having the same sort of like effect on the audience as the CWC was. And I would tell our 205 writer and our 205 producer, like it literally comes down to the fact that CWC was a tournament. Every single episode, somebody was like getting executed, you weren't going to see them again. Whereas 205, it's not like there's no consequences for a lot of the things. So they're not going to have the same sort of life or death. We have to watch this show.
Okay.
So I always used to push for them to maybe introduce tag titles and run another tournament on 205. So that way it was like, man, like some of these guys aren't coming back. Some of these guys aren't going to earn contracts. Some of these guys are going to still be here. Like who's going to win the first titles, Yeah. And so I think is a big difference that not just the company, but also the fans kind of overlook, is that like, it's not like we're doing super revolutionary stuff here, and it's not like we're doing stuff that we can't necessarily do on 205, but it is a little bit. But like the big difference is emotionally, you knew you weren't going to see some of these guys again, so of course you have to tune in.
Wow. It's, hard hitting. Like you said, execution. Who's going to go next? It leaves everyone guessing.
Yeah.
A couple pieces ago too. So Metallic head scissored me from the inside of the ring out, which was a pretty insane return from the earlier stuff. But the secondary jump that he did outside, I literally couldn't see him coming, and I feel so bad because he hit the deck hard as hell.
Yeah.
But,
I was gonna talk about that. I'm like, dude hit the ground like flat back.
Yeah. So it's sort of that's also like a Mexican style thing, is a guy goes out, you just go, and I knew he was coming, but like since we were kind of off center, I wasn't quite sure when I looked up where he would be, and he was a little bit more to the right than I thought he was, and he was already in the air, so it's a little tough. It's a little tough to adjust. So some of them you take on the chin like the first one, some of them they miss.
Yeah,
So,
fair enough.
I told my 8-year-old, because I made her watch it with her mom today, and she saw that part, and she's like, is he okay? I was like, yeah, that was all planned. Like, they meant to do that. She gets so into it.
That super kick was right on the money too.
That was really
nice.
Yeah, I had to remember that for future times where I knew he was going to super kick me.
fair enough.
That one split my lips pretty good.
See, now an interesting thing about the whole tournament, every time you won, it was by submission.
Yeah, that was a little weird too, because I mean submission wrestling is a strength of mine, obviously, and I always kind of pride myself on that. But I remember leading up, one of the reasons why I was kind of recruited and selected was because of that sort of style. But then it was Regal that kind of pulled me aside leading up and said, maybe you should switch to more like high flying stuff. So some of these qualifying matches I was doing, like in Evolve, I was finishing guys with the 450. That's also why I threw the 450 in round one.
Yeah.
And then he was like, no, you should be finishing guys by submission. So then I was like, all right, I'll finish guys by submission. But I think that worked out really well, because then like that became super dangerous for like when fans see it. Then that was, it was like Bret Hart and the sharpshooter. Like that was kind of a match killer, like that's it. That this might be the end. So
I love this
And
finish because I love when you get to bring that leg back over. Like you start out with one leg and you bring in two. I think that's what like draws me to this type of submission
uh,
that you do here.
so one of the reasons
That's
why
how
I
it
chose, yeah, so one of the reasons why I chose the knee bar, my grappling coach helped me come up with the version of it that I do, but I like that it comes in layers, you know, because
Yeah.
the regular knee bar is a finish in and of itself.
Mm.
And there's a lot of ways to go into it, and not a lot of guys do the leg. A lot of guys do the arms or like the back. I've always liked the octopus because like I'm an Inoki student, so like, you know, the octopus and the abdominal stretch or the cobra twist is, you know, depending on who you ask. Those I love those, but like a lot of people do arms. You know, Zach does the arm. A lot of guys do the arm. So I always thought leg would be cool, and because it's different, it's a little bit more vicious. You know, you're literally crippling a guy. So,
Yeah.
but the way that it can be applied in stages, and even from the knee bar, like in the Ibushi match, to be able to progress to like an STF from there, and so like there's a lot of layers that I liked that I could be able to play with my finisher, and so, you know, like getting through the tournament as I progress, like I was able to, like, okay, now's the right time where I can show off some of the layers because now it's been built to a certain point, and you know, all that. So
I mean, I loved watching. Like I said to you, I love watching every match, and for me, that was a big thing because, you know, I was always kind of construed in my head that WWE liked a good 1, 2, 3 finish. It was always a pin, a pin, a pin. And to see and to follow you through this tournament where it was a tap, it was a submission. I sat there going, this guy's got something. This guy is going to bring wonders here. And the technical side of things that you bring to the ring always did have me amazed, as well as these high flying moves.
So that exchange a second ago, it was funny because we're throwing these bombs back and forth, and the company really raved over his ability to create sound off of that overhand chop. Like a Mexican chop is always so amazing too, you know. So I was like, okay, this is a great time in the match in this story to get a little bit brutal. And so I was telling him to give me one, and I couldn't explain to him exactly what I wanted because I can say hand and I could say some of the stuff in Spanish. And like he gave me one, I said, do it again. And he didn't understand. So I was telling him, give me another right hand. And the next one was right in the face. And I was like, not that one, please, not that one. So I had the worst welts all over my face and neck. And the next day at NXT, the makeup artist had to, the makeup artist had to cover me up in order to take my championship pictures.
There we go, and that is the submission again. And like Mike said, that as soon as you lock that second leg over, I mean, that was.
Well, not even that. He also, like, when he locks the second leg, he then puts his arm over the extended leg. Like that. I mean, Nathan will tell you a lot of people try to mess with me because I love that kind of wrestling. But like, that's what drew me to everything you've done in this tournament was just like
I know that there's a lot of little things like that say like somebody like you kind of picks up on. So, you know, I was able to almost beat guys with the regular knee bar. So then the crossover figure 4 version was like the primary one. Then Ibushi, I you know, combined it with an STF. And then in this case, it was like the figure 4 one wasn't quite getting it done. So I thought, okay, if I overhook, this is a little bit, for submission fans, like they know that that's a lot more vicious because I'm putting my whole body behind it. And, you know, tap out finishes are interesting because like a 3 count, you kind of see coming and they'll be exciting, but it's like you have 2 ways to be excited, the kick out or the actual 3 count. But a submission, you that build keeps going up and up and up, and you never know when the guy's going to tap or if he won't at all. So it's kind of cool because there's an air of mystery of whether or not the match can be finished that way. And when it happens, it's always kind of a surprise. because you never really know when the guy's threshold is going to be met. So that's what I liked about having that sort of finish, and other than like Brett and Angle in WWE, you never really saw a lot of submission primary guys. So I thought that was a good way to be different from the rest of the pack.
I mean, it shows. It really did show. Like I said, it, for me, it really made you stand out that throughout the entire way that this was a guy that was making people tap. This guy, and he could do it various different ways. It was like, this guy's deadly.
The other thing too about picking that style and that type of finish, like, and this is just, I don't know, maybe like just years of experience. Like, I want guys to have an easy time to be able to get in the ring with me. And so I rarely make a guy land on their head or anything like that. Like, I'm never like hitting, like killing guys. So if they can deal with getting on the mat with me, then I'll do all the rest and make it an easy night for them. So I that's another reason why I chose the style that I do, is because there's an art to it that doesn't include brutality,
Yeah. Wow. I mean, what were your thoughts, obviously, when the match had ended? What were your thoughts going through your head as they raise your arm now? You're awarded
God,
the trophy.
look at that chest, man.
I know.
Oh, man.
You get in a fight with a bear?
Oh man, it's funny. I'll forward it to you after we get off. Like later on, I'll email it to you. I have a picture from the hotel of the next morning, what they had to cover up for the pictures.
Wow.
It's pretty awful. It's pretty crazy how bad I was marked up. But I don't know. I mean, once the match was over, it was a weird like weight that was kind of lifted off my shoulders, because I didn't feel a lot of pressure or anything. I didn't even expect to stay in WWE. When I did this, I wasn't even under contract. Like,
Oh wow.
I didn't know what my future held. I was kind of just flying free, but it felt like a weight was lifted because like they rang the bell and the music started playing, and it was like I just thought about like, when I was homeless and stuff like that. And it was like, to be able to come back to this point and to try to spread a positive message and inspire people and to be given this responsibility was a big deal to me. And it didn't really sink in until after the match had ended that it was like you kind of cleared. There's more traveling to do, but like I cleared a mountain that was standing in front of me for so long.
Did having
Hunter
the belt,
put that,
like winning the belt, like did that solidify in your head? Like, okay, it wasn't just a tournament. They actually, like, I'm probably gonna have to sign a contract now, or what was going through your head right there?
We had talked about one, we just hadn't decided yet. So I knew that they were gonna offer me one, because we had already kind of talked a little bit about terms and stuff like that. But I mean, it was just nice because what it really meant to me was that like they were gonna give all of us a shot. It wasn't really about me. Like, I mean, I was happy, but like, I mean, I felt like I've always felt this way. Like I could always do my own thing and I'll be fine. I'll figure it out. I'll have fun and progress, go somewhere else or stay wherever I'm at, whatever the case is. But it was nice to know that they were kind of giving me the keys to a car that a lot of people were in, and they were actually going to allow these guys to take a shot. And that's what was most important to me. That's why I chose to talk about it right here. They didn't give me a script or any kind of notes. They said, we're just going to hand you the mic. You can say whatever you want.
So it's just me post edit. There's going to be a slight little jump here with TJ traveling. Sadly, we lost some signal, but we do pick it up. We do address it. We may sound crazy. We probably are. But I just wanted to give you guys a little fill in the blanks here. So over to the interview. Typical, as TJ is traveling. He must have gone near Area 51.
He doesn't got his tinfoil hat on.
These damn aliens, man. You guys saw Indiana Jones. It's highly magnetic.
Oh, fantastic. That is great. Well, you were saying, TJ, about having, representing all other 32 guys in this the tournament itself. What were you
Yeah.
kind of dressing?
Well, so when it ended, they told me that they would kind of put me on the mic after, but they didn't give me any kind of script or bullet points, which is incredibly rare for WWE. I mean, normally it's like to the dot and period. And I was just saying that I had, I had thought maybe I could talk about, my life or my career. I could talk about my family and, certain things. But it was really important for me to use that time, I think, to bring the other guys in because, like, I wanted everybody to feel like that spot was theirs too. It's not just for me, and they had wanted me to be a leader. I was one of the more tenured guys amongst well, I would say cruiserweights, but even when we got to the main roster, other than like Big Show and Undertaker and like Jericho, most of the guys I had been around for longer than. So I was kind of one of the more experienced guys. So they looked at me and like Kendrick as, can you guys be like leaders for these guys? So I felt like it was important to not take that time for myself, but to like kind of talk them into it so that they don't feel left out, so they feel encouraged, so that they understand how big of an opportunity that WWE was giving us. That's really what I was thinking about. Is I was happy that the gates were open for the group more so than myself. I mean, I've never been big on titles or anything like that. I'm not really like a clout chaser.
Yeah.
I'm not like big on that sort of thing. I just want to have fun, and I was happy that they gave me responsibility and that I was able to kind of prove them right that like, yes, we deserve a shot. And everybody, guys have gone on to do some cool stuff. Cedric and Lucha House Party. A lot of these guys have started to grow into these roles with the company that they might not have otherwise gotten if they didn't believe in the cruiserweights. So.
I mean, a prime example there is Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that was incredible, in my opinion. That jump, that rise, for myself, I feel his technical work within the ring really propelled him to that, and he did himself great there.
He's still getting a push right now.
And I think that
got some technical difficulties.
Area 51 again?
No, yeah. I'll be able to. Sorry, TJ, you cut out there, buddy.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was saying there's guys like the Singh brothers, for example, and like these other two weren't in the tournament, but like say like Drake and Leo, that these guys immediately jumped into different roles on the main roster that like I don't think that they get enough credit. Lucha House Party too, like they came in and people still don't realize that they're doing like really important stuff and getting a lot of traction. So yeah, a lot of the guys have gone on to do good things, and I was just happy to see that door was open for them to do that.
And that's fantastic to hear. Like as you know, we like to promote positivity and try and help literally anybody with anything. Yeah. So, I mean, to hear that you kind of was like, I am ready to help these guys, to open the doors for them, is something that we like to do as hosts, but also then to hear even further really does lay it down to me about how much good there is within the community itself.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe it was bad to kind of vote against myself like this, but I remember even shortly afterward, we were only like a month later, and I remember talking to Hunter about where I was at and that it might be a good idea to bounce the title, like not to just like have me just keep running, because I thought like bring guys like Rich and like obviously like Brian and I thought at the time they wanted Gargano to come in a lot sooner, so I was like, can we get these guys involved, because like you guys already put me in a great spot, like I already got over really well, I connected with my community, you guys have done a lot for me, now my ball's rolling, like can we get guys like Cedric going, like give them a chance with the title, like move it around a little bit. They ended up doing that. Maybe maybe I should have not voted against myself. But I think that it was important, you know, a lot to this day, a lot of people, you know, and as much as I liked having guys like, say, like Neville when he came in, as much as I love being in the ring with Ben, like people to this day still say that their favorite time was that initial 6-month period where it felt like anybody could win and there were all these guys that they were interested in seeing equally. Eventually it kind of got watered down to where it was only focused on one person at a time. And I think that's kind of how people started to kind of dip out, like emotionally on the product, because they're like, okay, well, Neville's on a Goldberg run, then it's all about Enzo, then it's all about, you know, whoever after that. But it was like that initial period where it was like a group. It felt like, man, this is what a lot of people were really excited about, and I would get that at Access and like even meet and greets to this day. They missed that time and I always felt like that was important to get the group going. You know, it's not just about me or about one guy.
Yeah. Wow. Just wow. That's an amazing mindset to have.
It kind of reminds me of the 24/7 title that's going on right now. It's like it's something exciting. It's giving people a chance to be a champion. It's there's people talking about it. You know, R-Truth is kind of leading that, but there's other guys that are in the mix too, like Drake Maverick and EC3, and people that don't usually get a lot of TV time are getting TV time now because of that championship. You know, it's interesting. It makes it interesting to watch.
Yeah, exactly. And I always think, and I get it kind of has to end up being this way by design in certain ways, because it is a television show, and television shows are not about 30 people. They're about like 5 people. That's just how TV is structured. But the whenever they have a chance like that where they can incorporate so many different people, it always ends up being that the downtrend in it is when they start to use it to showcase one guy, because then the group misses out, and then a lot of times people lose interest because they were interested in seeing some other people as well. So hopefully they keep that rotation going with that title, because it's a unique opportunity for a lot of people. You know, it's like the hardcore title was.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
that title.
it's really
that
fun.
title was a beautiful title as well. So, you know, we you know, you passed over. You were released from WWE in February of this year. You know, and it was a shock to a lot of people, including myself. Yeah, we don't have to go into that. That's you know, that's your own personal private business, and we understand. But after that, what was your mindset straight away? Well, what did you think? Did you think I'll take a break, or did you say, you know what, I'm going to get straight back out there as soon as I can?
No, like, so a lot of that was kind of by design. I just don't like to tweet about quitting and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Like some guys do. For about a year prior to that, I had met with Vince. I always had a really good relationship with Vince. I could knock on his door whenever and talk to him and pitch ideas and stuff. Some things he likes, some things he doesn't. It was my idea to shorten my name to my initials, for example. Like he was like, yeah, let's do that. That'd be a good nickname for you. And there's a lot of stories that I pitched for, like, me and Rich Swann, that some elements got used, some didn't. But I always had that good relationship with him. But I met with him about a year prior, and I expressed to him that I felt like I was not a commodity to him as I was, just because I had been kind of separated from representing my community, and I always thought that being like his Asian American superstar, like a Filipino superstar, was what I was best at as a commodity, and it's what I was doing my best work as far as being a community leader and doing stuff like charities and things like that. And I just basically told him, I said, look, I'm kind of just a wrestler doing good wrestling on a wrestling show. and you got a lot of great wrestlers on your roster on every show. So like, I'm not any different than any other guy in this way, and I would like to find a way to do better for you. So, you know, he had asked, well, how can we use you better? I said, I'll show you. So I spent the year making my own appearances and doing stuff for the Filipino community and like doing red carpets. I trained with Pacquiao and doing press and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And I connected with different influencing groups and people that do work with like the NBA and MLB, and they do like, you know, heritage nights when it's like first X amount of people through the door get a special T-shirt, you know, with like, say, the Golden State Warriors with like a Filipino sun logo on it. Just stuff that like for community awareness and things like that. And I basically brought that all back to him. I said, this is what, you know, earlier in I did this around Survivor Series. I knocked on his door and I said, you asked me, it was oddly enough, it was in the UK. We were at London in like, I don't know, February or something like that.
Wow, all things happen in the UK.
Yeah, I knocked on his door. I think what is in the O2 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I said back in February you had asked, may have been in May. I don't remember if it was before or after WrestleMania, but I said you had asked me how we can do better. I said, and I just told you I'd show you. So this is it. And I gave him, you know, a package and stuff to look at. And I told him, look, what Ray and Eddie were to Latinos is what I am to Asians and Asian Americans. And I want to get back to that. When I got moved to Raw after the tournament, I got separated from that. And I think that was what my biggest commodity was for you. And I would like to do that again, both for business and just for positive reasons, you know. I said, great. And so the idea then was to get me on a different platform because, you know, a lot of those markets, they're just barely getting Raw and SmackDown. So it's kind of hard to demonstrate that through 205, you know. So the idea was to move me to Raw. So we spent, I don't know, from September, October until February trying to think of creative to find me a spot on Raw.
Again, just me. We lost him again, sadly, but here's the carry on of the interview.
All right, so yeah, I guess the transition was something I kind of knew was upcoming. Like, I don't ever believe in quitting, but I was kind of ready to leave. I don't like to give up on stuff. And I think because a lot of people don't get it broadcasted from me, you know, people, as they do, they fill in the blanks. Well, like, you know, there must have been this problem or that, or maybe it was because of his tattoos or something like that, which is kind of silly.
I did see that, actually.
Yeah, I always found that kind of funny because I started getting them back in like September, and they will have seen me every week walking around with these tattoos. Like, if it took them 6 months to fire me, then that would be really weird. But I think because people didn't see me on TV very often, they thought that it was like I just showed up one day with them. But no, I mean, all that stuff was normal business. I got clearance for all that stuff. Vince liked him, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I noticed that because you had virgin skin in the CWC.
Yeah. So yeah, I just I remember asking some of my friends back in I don't know, maybe November about, I mean, other places, and like, because I was thinking maybe I wanted to get out. I just felt like I wasn't contributing to the company at all, and I wasn't having fun anymore. And it's not like the cruiserweights needed me. You know, they're all doing real well. So I felt like, you know, but, you know, primarily I hate to quit. So I looked to try to change and become a better commodity for them, which they wanted. But there's just so many people there right now. And, you know, you can't fit everybody in. And I don't think that I like deserve anything over anybody else. So I understood, like, it's their investment, their money, it's their show. So I always felt like when they would tell me, well, we don't know where to fit this in, it's not like I would get angry about it, because that's their decision, you know. So it was just kind of time to go, and they didn't want me to become unhappy and start being like angry at work or anything. I mean, even like my last few matches, like I remember that last match with Humberto, they were like, do you want to just sit it out and not do it? And I was like, no, I'll do it. I'm happy wrestling. I'm not that guy, you know. Like,
you want to enjoy the craft that you're putting out.
Yeah. Like I wasn't gonna be upset, but I think, you know, that was really what they wanted to do is not get to that point. So they're like, look, we know you have other stuff to do. And Vince himself, for him, like his take on it was he has a lot of respect for what I'm trying to do, especially with the community and everything. And he just doesn't know what to do with that right now. So I said, that's okay, you know. And so he's like, go spread your wings. So that's really what I was aiming to do when I left. And that's how I filled up my schedule and started taking things. I'm going back to the Philippines for a show in October.
I know, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I had, my first, one of my first things was an Asian appearance tour when I got out, and we met and tried to organize what that show would be. And I just kind of want to help the scene out there and go out and contribute to my community. So
with PWR, is that if I'm correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're out there. They're one of the only cards that the Philippines has, so it was kind of cool to be able to go in and be able to help that coming up. So,
I mean, I've seen the video. Obviously, follow you on Twitter. Which, by the way, everyone remember, we now have Twitter. Here we go. This will be the interesting one. Let me see if I can remember it. I don't remember my own personal, but it is official BSPW. So, guys, we've now got Twitter as well. We've got a YouTube page, so go follow that. Sorry, TJ, you were saying.
Well, that's basically what came about for filling out my dates for the tour, is just to kind of attack all the things that I wanted to do and some of the things I wasn't allowed to do. So like now I get to do a lot of influencer work, some brand work. I remember asking about that while I was with WWE, and they kind of gave me a hard no on it, just because they don't want to cross over their own advertisers. And then I'd ask, well, can I contribute to those types of ads and commercials and appearances? And then of course, like they have their short list of chosen ones that they want. So it was kind of frustrating not to get those opportunities. So now I can do all that stuff. So, I work on collaborations and just try to do as much as I can and keep having fun.
So, sadly, I'm going to have to stop there. We have overrun our standard hour, which is nice, but it will mean we have a shorter episode next time. So, just want to say, we're not done. We still have more left to talk with TJ about post WWE, about what he's up to now, what he's looking forward to in the future, and if he had a dream match, what would that dream match be and where? So, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, like us on Facebook, and subscribe to our podcast. This is Nathan. Thank you. Bye-bye now.